We live, baby.
Okay, dude.
We smoking here?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, my card's on this shit.
Oh, man. So that means I gotta fire up a dart then, right? Start 30. DJ, do you have a lighter?
No.
You have a light? I need a light. Throw me a lighter.
So this is Nick Anthony, and he's here. He's, I guess he throws parties or some shit. I don't know really what he does,
Allegedly.
to be honest.
I'm Nick Anthony. Degenerate philanthropist is actually what I am.
Oh.
So, basically, that was it's a tongue-in-cheek thing. Promoters will say stupid shit like power broker, or that's the worst one. Or like vibe curator, which is the one that I hate. I hate that one the most, actually. But so to kind of poke fun at that, I'm like, oh, you know what? No one said degenerate philanthropist, and that's because I give people like free bottles and shit.
That's exactly, like, you're just throwing parties. Like, you're just throwing parties and like partying and partying. You're like just like me.
Kind of. I mean, I party, but I don't show my butthole. But that's.
I've done that. Like, that's like a couple
Only
times.
one
That's like a
time,
couple
okay.
times. Like, and it's not like it's like everywhere. It's only on some places of the internet.
It doesn't make you gay, so.
I'm a what? What do you have to say about this?
I agree.
Oh, wow. Wow. Wait a minute.
For that end of the team.
Okay. Well, listen, I did a little poll on my Instagram stories about what people wanted to hear from you.
All right.
You know, considering my Instagram just has millions of haters that follow me and interact with it, they're not that nice, but let's see if there's anything of of interest here.
All right.
How do I do this here? I go like archive or something? Archive, post, stories.
Do you need me to read it for you?
If you do, you might just be like, wow, these people hate you.
I'm just kind of curious, what kind of light do people usually see promoters in? Is it generally a positive, optimistic light, or do they view them as kind of like
a bouncer,
grubby middlemen who are just trying to work their way to the top?
That depends. I think so. There's definitely a stigma about it where some people have a really shitty view. Some people look at club promoters as shady people. There's some people that look at them as they just want to hook up with their girls, blah blah blah. But there's also levels to promoting, because someone who does just the nightclubs in Hollywood, sure, they're a promoter, right? But Pasquale Rotella is also a promoter, and he owns Insomniac. He throws EDC, he throws Countdown, a number of festivals.
So there's a family of promoters and people that own these venues and stuff that kind of build a network as
Yeah. So
how do you guys get paid? When the hell does that? Someone's I'm gonna pay you to promote this. What do you even?
So
How does someone with 1,000 Instagram followers promote a party?
Right. So that's me. I think I have 2,000 now, by the way, which is
It's
awesome.
gonna go up after this. Don't worry about it.
But
you're in the real life. You're in the real life.
I don't I actually don't post a lot of content. I actually don't post shit at all, which is kind of dope. And I'll even get into how I am able to do the job without doing that on Instagram. But a little bit later in this, I'll touch on it. But basically, how people get paid is you either are someone who works directly with the venue, and let's say I run a Saturday day event right on the west side in Santa Monica, and every week the venue just cuts me a check. Hey, here's the DJ budget that we agreed to, and then here's what the bar did, and your percentage of the bar sales that you get, here you go. Then there's also promoters that work for other people who have the deal at the bar. Those are called subs or sub-promoters. Instead of working for the club, you work for another promoter that's, throwing a party, and then, you'll get paid out by the person who that person gets the check.
Sorry, it's my OnlyFans.
All good.
So let me just ask you, what was one of the craziest experiences you've had booking an event? Who showed up? What was the beef? What was the tea? What happened?
So craziest, craziest party guest I think that we've ever had, or that I've ever been a part of, was probably either Bruno Mars, who comes to like our Wednesday. I do a Wednesday night event every Wednesday currently. He's kind of like a regular there, and then Bella Thorne. I used to work for like an old company. We used to do like.
Is she dyslexic?
Huh?
She's dyslexic.
Is she?
That was her branding on Disney. It was like, I'm dyslexic, but I can read. But I love her. She's hot.
I mean, she's dope. Super, like, insane actress. But, I know we had her because I used to work for a company that would throw, like, you know, award show after parties for, like, the Golden Globes, the Grammys, the Oscars, and whatnot. And then I would help, like, hire a whole bunch of promoters for those parties. And... What was, are you making a TikTok?
Nah, I wish. You want to film some? You want to film some for me?
You can film like one TikTok after this.
Oh, really?
You can film one TikTok.
Yes, I'm so happy.
What's the best and the worst part of this job when it comes to like the people you have to deal with?
Job.
What's
the job?
Whatever you want to call it.
No, it's cool.
Do you ever deal with like people that you just are like, okay, I need a break, or is
I would
it typically
say
like
the worst people to deal with are the people that like are showing up. They know they're showing up for free. They're literally not spending any fucking
That's
money at
me.
all, and they expect the world, and and like they really provide no value at all. Like they're somebody with like 40 to 60K on the gram, or maybe even 100, but they don't post.
Is that typical to have like people with?
Oh, dude, there's some people who think that it's the biggest thing in the world to bring like a group of fucking like, oh man, I got all these influencers coming, and they're not popping at all. Like they're literally just people in Hollywood. Like they're just people who happen to live in LA, are like moderately good looking. Maybe they showered the night before, and they think like, I deserve to come in here. You're lucky that I'm here. Blah blah blah. How? Oh my god, I got ID'd at the door. Like, yeah, no shit, you got fucking ID'd at the door. It's a bar.
It's
like,
the law,
dude.
You know what I hate though?
The craziest shit. Oh, dude, this is the craziest beef story. There was one party that we did. It was for this rapper's birthday. He does kind of like that fucking like that Yeet sounding shit. Yeet's actually like Yeet is like basically like electro and like rap and trap. Like like Playboy, like Playboy Carti, right?
Yeah.
So like like rage beat shit is what it's called.
Okay.
But they do like think like that sound of rap. There was one rapper who makes this kind of fucking music, and it was this guy's like birthday or some shit, and a couple of people in like his crew, like when they were walking in, they're like, hey, like, IDs please, and they're like, he's the fucking artist, he doesn't have to show you a fucking ID. And none of his people in his crew, like, they immediately walking in, and they immediately wanted to fight the bouncers. It's like, dude.
I hate bouncers, though.
It depends on the bouncer.
They be power tripping. They act like God.
Some of them do, for sure.
They're like police officers, but they're worse.
And what sucks about that is because they have that stigma. I also know a lot of bouncers that are funny as fuck.
Have you? Yeah.
One time I flirted with the bouncer. I got his number. We went out.
A group will walk up. Like, because when people are in line in LA, maybe like this in some other areas. Chicago, it's not so bad. I've been around, done parties in, Chicago.
We're not talking about Chicago.
Right, of course. We're talking about LA. People that are in line for, like, the shortest period of time just immediately are, like, super aggro. And, like, I'll have, like, a bouncer that's, like, funny. He's like, oh, man, like, we can't wear white shoes today. Like, completely joking, super benign. And they're like, what the fuck? I know this person, that person. It's like, whoa, chill. We're dealing with cocktails, not missiles. Like, fuck off. Like,
you know what I hate the most though, because I feel like they do be in the same social scene, like these clubs that have these like, it's like the age group of like 25 to like 39 or even 40, right? That age group, the Bootsy Bellows, the fucking Poppies, the other, is like the fake rich guys in there. The ones that come in and they're like, yeah, this is my table, girl. And then like, they are not ballers.
yeah, so...
No, you gotta know how to profile somebody. How the hell do they get in?
Explain the illusion behind that mask that you typically see at the clubs a lot when it comes to
Yeah, so there's a little bit of
There's
a
the
system there, I
cappers,
guess,
there's
so.
the real ones.
How do they pull it off? What's
So-
the typical game plan?
Yeah, so...
How do I fake it?
How do you figure...
How do you fake
How does a man come and fake it and be like, yeah, I'm the shit, girl, and like pull the bitch?
Simple. So, one, you have promoters that girls don't realize are promoters. Like, there's some girls that'll come out to clubs that think the promoters are just buying them all the booze.
Oh, yeah, like you were flirting, like you want to fuck me type thing.
Not
basically
even, like,
you own the
necessarily
club at
that.
this
I
point.
mean...
Oh,
it's just
they're like, you own the
there's-
club.
Yeah. Like, there's girls that literally will pull up to a club and think that the promoter is either the owner or whatever. And it's funny... God, I hate changing the subject here, but
Go ahead.
it is funny. It's like, oh, like, I work here. He's like, oh, I know the owner. I'm like, oh, like, you know, and I'll say, like, the name of the owner, and she'll be like, no, I know Caleb. I'm like, and Caleb will be not even a person who has a deal with the club. Caleb will be a guy who works for, like, either me or, like, one of my partners.
So what is it?
Caleb doesn't even have a job.
Caleb
He doesn't even
have a
work.
job at all.
He's just there for free.
He just got fired from 7-Eleven. Like,
Yeah, he's just trying to figure his shit out,
Oh
man.
my gosh!
literally,
Yeah.
bro. Fucking Caleb. Caleb isn't even a guy that, like, we're, blurring
Caleb's
out
like
names,
6'1" though,
obviously,
so
but
Caleb's
Yeah.
like, you know, he
Caleb
is.
looks
he's
big.
6'1" and he did laundry the night before, so
Yeah.
and he knows a promoter, and the promoter doesn't hate him. So.
But he's also
Yeah.
Caleb, so he's
There's
gonna
There's some
lie.
promoters that, like, will just be super, like, it's like, nah, like, we can't get any fucking dudes in, blah, blah, unless they have, like, 5 to 6 girls with them, blah, blah, blah.
Do girls get in for free most of the time?
More often than not, yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah,
why would you charge
Like,
me?
honestly, like, if you're a moderately attractive woman and you just show up early to a nightclub...
But you can't have a guy with you, right?
Yeah, like, you can if you show up early. It just depends on the nightclub, and it depends on the night. On a weeknight, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
If you go to, like, like a Monday through Thursday type of situation at any of the nightclubs, and you just show up early
They
with
just want people to
whoever,
come in that
they'll
way.
just let people in.
Ah.
If they have a big line outside...
That's probably a good way to network too. If you go early, I've learned this from life, concerts. I've learned it from parties. If you go early, that's when all the people that don't really have like friends go because they
Yeah.
go early because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You can meet a lot of like lifelong friends, and then you'll see the other people roll in, and it's
Yeah.
when people are actually talking to each other and the music's not blaring.
It's not
I
like-
love going early to stuff.
Like, the nightclubs aren't usually my favorite place to, like, quote-unquote network. That's
True.
another
Do you
thing.
prefer like house parties, or what's your
House
mansion
parties are cool,
What's the
depending on...
difference between those as far as like?
One's at a house and one's at a club.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like as far as like
Really?
issues you might run into. I mean, like do you prefer like mansion parties to events at venues?
Yes and no. Both have their drawbacks, because one, like, house parties obviously can be shut down by the police. So, like, if
Fuck
the
the
word
police.
really gets out, here's one crazy...
What's the biggest mansion party you ever?
The
were a part of?
craziest shit that we did is we threw a party with a really, really famous skateboarder, and
Tony
we
Hawk.
got- not Tony Hawk, but we threw a party with a really, really famous athlete, and that got shut down by the police because there was another guy who, like, this kind of like Nepo baby that owns a pretty
Sex.
mom and dad, got him a really, really, really nice house.
Oh, I like
and it was
those.
a really popular, like, party spot, like, right near, like, the Sunset Strip. And he was throwing a party on the same day. So my buddies that I work with, they're like, we need every club promoter, like, on this, like, house party, blah, blah, blah. And this athlete had, like, his people too, and it was just absolute chaos. Like, it was a total shit show outside of the door until like 4:35 in the morning. Cops like shut it down. I want to say around like 4:30, 5 o'clock. But the entire time from like 11 to about, you know, the time it was shut down, it was just an ocean of people outside. And you'll have people crowding the street. You'll have people, you know, blocking traffic. Like my buddy that drove me there, like he, you know, just works like a 9 to 5. He, you know, just a career guy. He's like, yeah, like I'm heading this way. Like you know, he was going to go to like some bar or whatever for like a game thing. Like I think he does like a chess thing.
Okay.
And,
Wait a minute. He does chess? Wait, no. Because I might know this fool. Because I went to some $5 million place in like Hollywood Hills from a chess club. That's where you gotta go.
No, not him. Like this guy, like
you don't even know him.
You definitely don't know him.
Excuse me, I might know him.
Not enough millions.
But this guy literally was sitting, like my boy was literally sitting in traffic on the hill going up to this house, and he's like, damn, bro, like we're just looking at lines of cars, just like.
Because when do you not see that in LA?
Like,
lines of cars.
Like 80, at least like 80 cars, like just going up to drop people off to this crib. And I'm just like, look, dude, I'm like, I'll walk it. Like, just feel free to like bust a Yui because you're going to be sitting here forever. And it took him like an hour just to like move like off the hill and like whip the car around. It took him forever to get like done with traffic. And he's just like, holy shit, that looks like you're gonna have an insane party tonight. And when I got in and like thought basically I had to part the Red Sea of bodies, I'm just like, hey Gabe, what's up? And
that's
they're
another
like,
thing I'm curious about too. I know like a lot of times you'll show up at your event or something that you were promoting or working with, and a lot of people don't really know who you are. So before they know who you are, before they know what kind of pull you have in the situation, how do they, like, what's the difference? How do people treat you in the club when they know you versus when they don't know you?
When they know you, they'll treat, and when they know you and respect you, they'll treat you great.
What's the worst experience you've ever had with
I have a question.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. My question here, I want to know.
What is your question, Soph?
Oh my god, thank you. My question is, like, so personally, when it comes to generating hype around events, I'm going back to the good old days. You're established now.
Yeah.
But when you first started out generating hype, you know, I do it in a very specific way on my Instagram. It's not necessarily a true reflection of myself. Have you ever been in a position where you stretched the truth, or you maybe had to tell someone something to try and get a crowd to come through to something you're trying to be, like, successful at? Like, you're throwing something and you needed it. Have you ever seen promoters you know, like, kind of, like, tell, like, white lies?
I've seen promoters I know definitely.
And what's the craziest white lie you've tried to see someone spin?
Here's the craziest one is the old, like, you know, I worked for an old, you know, before doing what I do now, there was an old, like, you know, it was just this guy had, like, his own, like, event company. But we used to do, like, these award show parties. We did one, so we would do, like, the Golden Globes, the Grammys, the Oscars.
Wait,
like,
what? You're doing that?
Well, so there's the Vanity Fair one. There's brands that throw, like, their own parties.
Okay.
So, like, take, you know, Casamigos' Grammys after party or whatever.
Okay,
right?
all right. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Or Don
I see what you're saying
Julio's
here.
after party,
I
right?
totally
There's
see what
a
you're saying.
myriad of ones, like the Hollywood Reporter will write them all up, right?
Okay.
So basically, a ton of huge companies are trying to get in on promotion through these parties.
And our parties would get featured in, like, the Hollywood Reporter, Variety, like all the, like, the big tabloid mags too, which is cool. But the thing is, like, celebrities are either going to go to, like, one place or the other, right? Golden Globes, we had, you know, Bella Thorne, Keke Palmer. It was great.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, it really, like, helped start hot for the year. So Grammys were like, oh yeah, and then the Grammys we had Ty Dolla $ign pull up with Leon Thomas. Like, I was sick. The Oscars.
You were sick. You couldn't go. You had to see Ty Dolla $ign.
What's up?
You were sick.
No, it was sick.
Oh, I thought you said you were sick. I was like, you missed out on Ty.
Yeah, I had to work the event. And then for the Oscars, like, to, like, keep the hype train rolling, the, you know, person I was, like, working with was like, oh, like, you know, this celebrity is going to be here and this celebrity is going to be here for, like, the Oscars, like, throwing out ludicrous names. And I'm just like, okay, we're going to get this because they like this one DJ and yada yada. And I'm just like, and he's like spinning this narrative to me, and I'm just like, all right, bro, like, you know,
show up.
the last two have gone great, so like, why wouldn't this work? And then to like, not advertise like to sell tickets, but to like get other people to like jump on and help promote the party. It's like, hey, like, you know, and granted, our previous two parties did very, very well, and the method that we used to get celebrities hadn't changed. So it's like, yeah, maybe we could land these like really, really super good people. And so I would use that to get like people to jump on and host the party and help sell tickets and do, you know, X, Y, and Z, bring their friends.
Dude, you gotta do shit like that.
But that Oscars party didn't hit as well as in terms of big celebrity draw. We still had cool people.
Did anyone comment on how the celebrities weren't there?
A couple of like people that I had onboarded,
haters,
but I mean, like, it is what it is, dude. Like, at the end of the day, like, what we had built up, like me and you know, my buddy who does like is really, really, really sick with ads. Me and him just generated close to like 30 to 40K in ticket sales, like, for these events. It was sick. So,
can I ask something too?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure a lot of people are curious about, but for an event like this, like, what is the typical
What is an
budget?
event like this?
Like, you know,
for like the award
a large show or like something like the award show.
Yeah.
What's typically like the budget, and how does it get divvied out? And you know.
Yeah. So we didn't have we spent a lot of money, like the guy I worked for, obviously, because I wasn't like I was just an employee at this time, right? But I had a really good network of like influencer kids and just young people that are, you know, cool in LA to help kind of build some hype. Huh? I didn't know you yet, and you wouldn't have made the cut. No, I'm kidding. But I'm kidding. I would have easily.
No, that's cool, dude.
Nah, I would have
Friends,
easily
fine.
Maybe for the BET Awards, I would have hired you, but
For the what? The what?
we can cut that.
The BV. Wait, what?
BET Awards?
BV? Bacterial. What?
BET.
Oh, bet. Okay, bet.
Not. Oh my God.
I thought you meant like BV or something.
We do need to cut that.
It is
by the way.
popular.
Yeah. But
Subject.
yeah.
BV is very popular. It's very common. You would know.
But that we gotta cut. But anyway.
Don't worry about it.
So.
Where's the alcohol?
I'm gonna go grab the bottle.
Should we grab the bottle?
Yeah, we can. Don't worry. I'm gonna. Don't
really?
worry. I
Alright,
will
cool.
send. I will send it all to you, and you'll know what's going out.
All right. Cool. Bet. All right.
I respect you for being here with me.
Of course.
I won't post anything that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah. But
He goes,
I would
yeah,
say
yeah. Shut the fuck up.
no, we're chilling. Oh shit.
DJ, I don't know if that camera can hear you, by the way. So, like, I'm just letting you know with all your... I hope it can, because we have the mics.
Oh,
So your questions you're asking, that's why I'm trying to be like...
Yeah.
But I love your direction.
Yeah, that it does help, honestly.
It helps a fuck ton, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're good. Cool.
It's okay.
Fire.
It's okay.
Cool.
I love Bacardi.
Papa
Can you get me
Squatty.
sponsored? I love
Give me
him.
some bottles at the club.
I could. I mean,
Try.
rum isn't really popular at the club.
What is the most popular drink you sell?
just
Well,
popular
actually, let me ask you
Press
this.
people.
So when the crypto bros or some like huge influencer or something comes through and they want to get a VIP booth and they want to have bottles, typically what is the most expensive bottle that you'll sell? What's the most popular drink that people get?
Oh yeah. Depends on the people that come. If it's like more of like a hip hop crowd, the crypto kids like really, really, you know, gravitate towards hip hop.
Can you describe the crypto kids a little bit for the people in the back?
They're usually younger. They're just younger kids.
Who are
that
these people and why do they show up to the club so often?
They love the club.
Where do they get this money from?
I love the club.
So here's what they do. So in a nutshell, the crypto kids that like go out and party, like they love putting like coins on a bottle sign and putting like stupid shit on bottle signs. So they'll do this. They'll make content with popping like, oh my god, we just spent $5,000 on Ace of Spades, like, and they'll put like
how much is
shit coin X.
How much is a bottle of Ace of Spades, by the way?
It depends where you go. In Hollywood, probably around $200 to maybe $2,300, depending on what club you go to. Cool.
All right.
We could be a team, DJ. I love you.
Cool.
He's trying to take my fucking career path. That's what he's doing.
Run it.
Let's go.
Run it up.
All right.
So this is DJ.
How's it going?
What up, Beej?
The one and only.
I've known this man for a long time.
We go way
This
back.
is my business partner and my personal assistant.
I couldn't ask for anybody better.
He lives with me for free, but
She's the brains
She is.
and the beauty.
What
Go
up,
ahead.
dude? What up, G?
What's going on?
What's up?
Talk to me, Nick, man. It's been a while. We used to
It's
live together. We
been
met
a-
in college.
it's been
You've
Fucking long
You've been promoting
time.
parties ever since I've known you, and
Yeah.
at first, I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't really know what you were doing, but now that I see the vision unfolding and I see like how you've, moved from Chicago to LA and you've kept that passion and you've made this whole network, I just want to know a little bit more about it. Like, how do you feel about it? Like with what you're doing, like where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah. In 5 years, DJing a lot. I came out here to spin, but I've always, you know me even before
Did
coming.
you find a bigger?
Yeah, even before, like I've always been good at the party thing.
Mm.
So, and it also is a good way to like just build this like cool community. So I've done a pretty good job of that, and playing wherever it makes sense to play. It's not like the biggest focus right now. I obviously want to do it, and like it's something that I really do want to do, but it's more of making sure that it goes hand in hand with what I got going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then yeah, dude, fucking just keeping on the pressure, dude. It's been fun. Like it's been hella fun.
What would you say like your most memorable experiences in the last 7 or 8 or 9 years, the last 7 or 9 years you've been doing this?
The first big watershed moment was when, like, after we'd already done a pretty good job of, like, in college, like, we were, killing it at, like, a small 300 cap spot. And then the guy who owned the big club at SIU had hit us up to do a show, and we're like, holy shit. Like,
Is that typically how it goes? If you throw a good event, it's successful, people like it, you usually tend to get pulled from like bigger venues and events?
People who see success, like Nightlife is a very copycat business. So if they see somebody like winning, they're like, I want to be a part of this. Yeah, I want to win too. And the thing is, like, at the time, the guy who owned the big club in town, like, it looks a lot different than it did back then before we even threw that show.
Yeah.
It was a massive room, but production-wise and, like, lighting, sound was always good. Like, the guy had always, the guy was a DJ. Like, he took care of the sound. But lighting-wise, it didn't fully, like, fill the room, so to speak. So I think after doing that big show there, when we had booked Nightmare, he was like, okay, like my club could and also should look either like this or similar to this.
Would you say like there's a difference between booking something that's EDM based versus hip hop based?
Not necessarily.
Like in the turnout or the crowd in general, the culture.
Culturally, like I think it's gonna draw young people, and young people can be whatever flavor of rowdy that they want to be.
What kind of events do you prefer throwing?
My background is more dance music, and that's what I like to listen to.
Yeah,
so that's kind of my thing. I don't mind hip hop stuff. The thing that I want to do with hip hop is, like, for me, I like Rap with a live band. I think it's the most
I think that's the new wave. That's the
undefeated
future.
thing ever. Like, dude, me and you saw Rap with a live band back in college.
I saw,
and we're like, this is
bands
sick.
and like live instruments kind of fade out for a while, and then kind of move into this more trap, hip hop, like computer beats. And then I saw like the great fusion where like they took the best of both worlds, and now everybody's starting to kind of have this like, I want some live sound incorporated into my hip hop, and I think it's the best version.
Yeah, dude. I think like you take people like Anderson .Paak, right? Who, live. Most people will say that rap live is kind of shit, but Anderson .Paak probably throws one of the coolest shows I've ever seen. Mac Miller was another, great example.
rest in peace.
R.I.P.
What a fucking great guy.
But, dude, like, I feel like rap doesn't really take advantage of what it can offer sometimes, and it just, time will tell. Like, I think it evolves, and, like, you have, young kids even going the dance route. Like, Yeet just did the Sphere. And, like, Yeet's a young kid.
Wow, what a crazy venue to have an event at.
He just
Imagine
did the Sphere with Anima. He did a record with Anima and premiered it at the Sphere, and it was fucking sick.
Wow,
it's like,
that's so
because
cool.
visually, like, he has this really, like, eclectic, like, look and feel to him, and seeing that on display at a venue like the Sphere is like crazy euphoria. So that's always cool. But I think rap is gonna evolve. I mean, dance music even hit a slump like in the mid 2010s, like after kind of like that Skrillex and Diplo, like Jack U
there was
era.
a little bit of an unsure where are we going from here.
Yeah, like it had kind of gotten a little too formulaic. They hadn't really figured out like where they wanted to go. And then all it takes is just, a bunch of new kids with new ideas. I mean, how rap became the way it sounds with like these young kids doing the rage beat shit is I feel like a bunch of young kids figured out who Crystal Castles was at a young age.
I think the whole hyper pop mixed with like other type of music.
Like if you listen to like, Ken Carson or Yeet or Playboi Carti or Uzi and these like, the younger kids from that, like that specific sound, it's literally like, oh yeah, this is Bloghouse, but with trap drums. And it sounds dope. I love it.
Yeah,
like, I'm just like, I'm for this, dude. Like, this is fire. Like, net spend, if you come across this, you're killing it. But, yeah, dude, that's the tea.
Oh, man.
What else we got?
What have we not covered yet? I feel like there's so much more to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, you asked about like the crypto kids and whatnot, and like what more do you want to know about the cryptos?
Yeah, what are some of the high profile people that you usually like have come to your events? Like besides the crypto kids, besides celebrities every now and then, is there any other weird niches of people that you're just like, how did you get in here and how do you have so much money?
The crypto kids are the most consistent. You'll get big tech founder people that'll come in or you'll get like entrepreneurs that just like exited a company. And I'll give you an example of this. Like, and I wasn't here to witness this. This is a, the Saturday event that I do, the people who like work at that venue. One of them worked at a TSA or as a TSA, like basically like a busser, right? At the nightclub that he showed up at. But when he told me that when Dana White sold like the UFC to Endeavor, like him and the Fertittas like exited the UFC, like he went to I don't know what club it was in LA. It might have been Hyde or like, they have switched, Hyde's always been Hyde, but could have been like One Oak or wherever he was TSAing at the time. But he said that Dana White came in, he spent $150,000. He came in like late. He came in at like 12:45. He spent $150,000. He threw another $100,000 and he tipped like everybody like $10,000 cash.
That's cool, man.
Like, and he just balled out. Like he said like he found his glasses on the floor and they were like regular ass glasses. They weren't like some crazy designer or whatever.
Yeah.
They were just like his prescription glasses or whatever. Or I don't even know if it was some prescription. It was just his whatever glasses he had were on the ground. He picked them up and he handed it to him. He's like, "Oh, thanks, dude." And he handed him $10,000.
Wow.
And I'm like, that guy is nuts. Like, I would love to go to a club with Dana White just to like watch that in action.
Everybody's seen the videos online, where he's just high stakes gambling, not giving a fuck, just doing his thing, and it's pretty entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, man, that's the guy you want to be in a room with,
Dude, I don't know anyone who's gambled with Dana. Like, I haven't personally met anyone who's gambled with him, but I've seen the streams, and I'm like, dude, like, I would not be able to sit at a table
and throw those numbers out, bro. Like, that is just a crazy level of, like, that's what gives him an adrenaline rush, because that's, like, move the needle money for him, I guess, right? Which would be, like, break anybody else,
Yeah.
right?
If it doesn't hurt, is it really risky?
Dana White's goated, man. Like, he's goated. But, yeah, I guess he, at the time he, like, usually if there's a big milestone thing for a big, like, entrepreneur or whatever, every so often they'll go to a club and they'll have fun, they'll take care of their people, and they'll party it up, they'll spend.
So, I guess for all the, like, people that might be, like, new to LA or just breaking into the party scene, like, what's a good roadmap? What's a good crash course? Like, this club on this night, or this is what you want to check out, this is what you want to avoid? Like, what would you do,
Like, do's and don'ts. Like, basically, like, boots on the ground first day in LA, just moved here.
You want to go check out some clubs, you want to network,
Yeah,
go have a good time, get some free drinks maybe.
And, yeah.
What would you suggest? Like, what's the hierarchy of clubs, and, like, how do they compare? Like,
honestly,
what's the vibe?
There's not really necessarily a hierarchy.
Like, what would you say, like, maybe the five biggest clubs are in LA?
LA.
Like, or places that you would want to go?
Yeah. My favorite club in LA is Sound.
Okay. Why is that?
The artists that they book.
Just the best
like,
music.
yeah, it's house, and it's, like, legit. Like, especially during Coachella when they do, like, it's called the 7 Days of Framework, but they book, like, huge headliners that are usually playing Coachella. They'll come to Sound for a night.
I feel like it's, like, a big issue
off
with a lot of the afters in LA. They play one specific style of, like, hard step music. And
Yeah.
it's cool, but it feels a little blown out at this point. And
Yeah.
I think, I really appreciate when the music is good.
Yeah, the cool thing about the after scene is, like, from an outreach perspective, like, if you need to reach, quote unquote, the most people, those are, like, the people you probably want to partner with. It's like, oh, like, we need to sell a lot of tickets to something, like, and let's say you are, like, a very, like, exclusive, tables only club, right? Like, you'd want to partner with somebody who has, like, a massive
just
SMS
coming
outreach.
in. Yeah,
That's kind of how I got in, by throwing a lot of parties and meeting people. One way that people have, can start is, there's a bunch of, like, party apps. Radiate's one of them. Partyful's another. The reason I like Partyful is because, you can ask, potential attendees questions like, hey, like, you can collect emails, you can collect phone numbers, you can collect, whatever you want to collect.
Yeah.
Like, ask them whatever, like, what is the fifth planet from the sun?
Would you say that, like, the list you curate over the course of, like, your endeavors or your career is kind of, like, essential to any promoter? Like, the curated lists that you create over time?
Yeah, your crowd is a big piece of it. I mean, it's also, though, about finding, ways to, really activate it, right? Like, there's a whole bunch of names on a list, and maybe some of those names will come, but it's also about, like, being able to make an experience for certain people that you want to, like, go do something fun with, right? Like,
would you say that's what kind of keeps you going in the promoting scene? Like, the kind of, like, satisfaction of, like, man, I helped create this. Now a lot of people are just enjoying the fuck out of it, and that's partly because of me.
Each party is, like, a different painting, right? Every single, like, just because we do a game night on, Wednesday nights, like, the game night is just the blank canvas, though. Like, there's always going to be Jenga, Cards Against Humanity, and, Connect 4, Giant Uno, right? But what's built on top of that? What other people are coming? Are we having this fashion brand coming that knows, some of these people? And, to me, it's about just, getting, like, that cool skateboarder kid, that cool artist.
That like, whoa, can't believe that guy's here type of, like...
Yeah, or just the cool, like, culture fits, right? Like, you want to...
So you kind of got to be in the know. You got to kind of stay up to date on the trends and stuff to really know who you want to get.
Definitely. And then also having people that, like, you know, you talk to people and you find out who they know, right? And if you
Mm.
pay attention, which many kids who work at nightclubs don't, because they're just like, oh yeah, whatever. There's a lot of promoters where if a dude's talking to them, they literally are like, are you buying a bottle? If not, you're dead to me. And
Just
it's like
kinda
it's the
brain rot
stupidest, it's the
mentality.
stupidest approach to have, because like, dude, like, you don't know who they know. Like, oh, we can bring this person here, and if they're talking to you, you know, with some sense, if they're not like, you got to comp me a bottle because I know this person that's not here. It's like, oh, you got to comp this person. That's Jeezy's uncle. Like,
Is that pretty
where the
typical
fuck
to see that kind of attitude when people come in thinking
you
they're
get
hot shit?
for
and-
every person that like has a fucking, you know, a head on them that's like decent, you're gonna get at least like a shithead or two.
Yeah.
I would say as I've gone along and grown and kind of filtered out like some of the like shitty people from that I've just come into contact with, I'd say I got a pretty good, you know, like launch pad. It took about 2.5 years to build it, but it's working and it's still growing. And the more good people you meet, the more good people you're going to meet, because people who are good for you and people who are good to other people tend to surround themselves with really good people. And
That's true.
like, you just gotta kind of weave your way through like, oh man, this person sucks, and it's exhausting early, because you're gonna meet a lot of shitheads early, especially when you're new and you don't really have a whole lot that you can offer because you haven't really proven yourself yet.
So you'd say there's like a moment where like you break through from like the struggle and the grind of like building a network and surviving and
Yeah.
you know,
Like-
to like maybe more of like a, okay, this is consistent, I can rely on this, now I can build a future off of this.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like for the way that I did it, when I first started, like when I moved from, because I spent a little bit of time in Long Beach and then came up here, after like I had moved back to Hollywood, I had like a regular 9-to-5 job because I'm just like, yo, I need some stability. And then as I worked on building this list out, like I would just send DMs to random like people that I thought were a good fit. I would go and scrape like on IG, you can like data location tag like, oh, I can go, you know, Nobu, Malibu, and like cool people that are there and just DM them. Hey, I throw events and I do X, Y, and Z, right? You know, would love to host you and your friends sometime. Super benign messages, and all those are just to get an open dialogue with these people. And then is everything good? So coming in.
I'm interrupting you guys. I want my cell phone. Is it in here?
Oh.
Are you done?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You want me to come back and interview with you? You think I'm hot?
Wait, let me ask you one more question though.
Yeah.
real quick.
Oh gosh. Wait, where's my phone? Not that phone. No. Keep that one there. That's important.
Okay.
I'm looking for
We're still good.
my other one.
Okay.
I think it might just be 30 minutes, honestly. I don't think I might do an hour, but like,
Okay.
you guys are fine. But I'll come back in. Just tell me.
Okay.
stand up
Doing
and
good?
tell me.
Yeah,
we're
okay.
chilling.
Nice.
So can I just ask you, kind of going back to that original
Yeah.
question, like if you were to put together a list of like places you gotta go, clubs you gotta check out, like top 5, what would they be?
Top 5 list. I mean, it depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to like for good music, or like, you know, these are places that tend to book artists every single like time they are open, I would go more the dance music route. So that's going to be Sound. Spotlight does a pretty good job of it. They're new, so they're still kind of like filling out the roster. Academy, Exchange. That's going to be your kind of like every night they're open, they're going to have some talent and they tend to sell tickets, right? If you're trying to see celebrities, or you're trying to see like really, really hot girls and you're looking for just like mad ratio, because
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that too. Like, it's important for a club to have a good mix of like men and women, you know. So like, how do you kind of like make sure that happens so that, you know, it's not just overcrowded with dudes, or it's just, you know what I mean?
yeah,
vice versa.
old, I mean, it's a super old school like way of doing it is they'll have, you know, promoters that show up with, you know, 10 to 15, 20 girls, and they comp them a table, and, you know, they have a set amount of, depending on what club it is and what night it is, they'll have X amount of comps, right? Where
I've heard
all these promoter tables, and it's just the promoter or promoters, if it's a team of them, and their girls.
I've heard in situations like that, just the girls who even show up can even get paid sometimes. I'm not sure if that's a thing or not.
I mean, if a promoter's paying girls to show up, but sounds more like escorting.
Yeah.
More often than not, like honestly, or it's girls that are quote unquote getting paid to show up. Like they're either a promoter themselves, where they're like just a girl that is doing the job, right? Because a girl can do the job. I know a few of them, or they're literally escorts for a bottle client usually. A promoter on a promoter, like, put a promoter gets paid, does not have the bankroll to pay a girl an amount of money that's worth her time to get paid to show up to a nightclub. It's like, hey, we can, comp you and your friends a table and a bottle or two or whatever, and, they'll hang out, they'll drink, they'll have fun, party, and that's it. There are some promoters that will, throw in other kickers, like maybe they partner with certain people to help make getting to and from the club easier.
Is
But
the turnover rate kind of high? Like, do a lot of promoters kind of give up midway through the climb? Or would you say that most people kind of stick with it and just create a lifestyle out of it and stick with it over the years?
yeah, most people who like just start out, I would say fizzle out, they burn out. There's a couple of different reasons why people start and stop.
It's a pretty tough shift,
Yeah, the people that I notice, the main reasons people fizzle out, one, they take on too many nights. So how promoters usually get paid, you're either going to get a flat fee or you're going to get a per head basis, depending on, what club you work and what, night, what club, and also are you working for a promoter or do you have a deal with the club? Subs get treated like shit more often than not because nobody really knows who they are. They don't really have the pull that, with the club. They just are working for a promoter. They're a promoter assistant, basically. You're somebody's bitch. And you gotta just do, all right, I gotta have 10 to 12 girls and then we'll get in and they all gotta be smoking hot. And,
smoke shows, all of
and usually they're not. And they don't even have to be. Like, dude, just bring cool people. Like, honestly,
are events always profitable, or do you have nights where you guys take losses?
Oh yeah, there are
common?
definitely are nights where either the club will take a loss if it's like the club's night and like whoever owns the club, it's like their party. If no tables are being bought, they're losing. They're losing big. But it's also offset. I mean, when you have a club where you're running 50% margins on, between all the staff and everything.
So if you're going to pay your
for.
headliner that much, you better be bringing
Yeah,
a
I mean,
crowd,
if you're selling a bottle of Clase Azul, a bottle of 1942 costs what? Like $130, $140?
Roughly, yeah.
At a nightclub, it's $1,800, $2,000.
Oh, wow. That is an insane markup.
And kids buy it. And they don't just buy one. Like, dude, the biggest,
I was at Warwick last night, dude. 2 double shots, $84 for
yeah,
the tip.
and it's crazy. Like, bro, like I've seen bottle clients literally go into a nightclub, and their first order is 40 bottles of Ace of Spades.
Buy a house with that.
Literally, multiple houses with it. Like, and usually it's crypto kids, but like, dude, like the biggest spend that I've personally seen was like $560,000. He cleaned out the entire liquor room. Like he would go into the kitchen and he would pay in cash, and he would just, like, the people that I know that worked with him, bro, you'd pay cash, cleaned out the entire liquor locker.
Not to disclose too much information, but can we have a hint? Can we have the first
It's
letter?
Malone. Okay.
It's Malone.
So yeah.
Wow. Wow. What a fucking life, that guy. He's like kind of like a legend at this point.
Bro, dude. There's a million fucking like YouTube things on him, but I know a couple of like you know, people who, I mean, I've been at a club when he's been spending, and it's like, whoa.
Just surreal, huh?
Dude, it's literally every 20 minutes, every 15, 20 minutes, there's bottle signs coming out for him. Like, he would just get a show, and it would just be, you're watching all these bottles just come out, and you're just like, they're not even going to finish them all. And it's like...
Well, from what it sounds like, we might have not heard the last of Malone. Sounds like he's,
No, he's in jail.
like he's going to be okay. I heard he works some kind of...
No, he's in jail.
Okay.
He's definitely in
Wishful
jail.
thinking.
Dude, we miss him. Like, every single club, dude. There are people who still will get a bottle sign, or clubs that'll put out a promo sign that says "Free Malone." Like, he's a fucking legend, bro. Like,
I think there's a part of, like, Malone and all of us just like, you know what?
dude,
We can just break the rules.
They definitely are gonna make a feature film on his story.
Oh, I hope so.
Dude.
I hope so.
It's gonna be insane. Like, that dude, he would. The craziest thing that craziest number I heard he did was 560,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's
Hey,
nutty.
what's up? Get the fuck out of my chair.
All
All
right.
right, you are being ready. What's good?
A lot. So,
Soph is back.
of course, yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Were you doing
Happy-
nitrous in the other room?
No, actually, I was just selling some bottles of it, though, you know.
Oh,
Gotta make my
fun.
profit. You could catch me outside, like, Fever and, like, some local LA events. Not cool enough for, like,
Did
this
you
guy to
give
know.
them sparklers and signs with the nitrous bottles?
No, but I put I put light up shit
We
in
should
them.
do that at
This
an
is
after
true.
hours where we get like sparklers
It's already
and
been
bottles,
done. It's
bottle
been
signs for nitrous tanks.
Pretty
That would be
much.
hilarious, dude. Like at an illegal rave in DTLA.
Knock on the
Like
door.
the shadiest. You do OnlyFans. Obviously, it's not a secret. Do you have friends that do OF that are also like would
No,
be down to like?
Baddest one I know. No.
Huh?
No, not
No?
yet. I'm trying to convert a couple girls, but
Look, they don't even need to do OF, but they just need to be down to like be tank girls, tank girls.
is that what I am? Tank girl?
A tank girl, yeah,
Same
because they're
thing.
not, like, I mean, they're not bottles of nitrous, they're tanks of nitrous,
Hey, it's
right?
2025.
It's 2025. Dude,
I don't even
Tank
do
service.
nitrous.
Tank
I just
service.
sell it.
you just. I
I'm a nitrous trapper.
motherfucker.
I've
I'm
done
selling.
it. I've done it before. Don't get me wrong, but it's not that great.
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
like,
How hilarious would it be to set up at, like, the shadiest warehouse, and then you sit people down, instead of, like, chaser and an ice bin, it's literally a table
And a
with a
balloon.
shitload of balloons, and then just, you have this sparkler show come out, and hella girls, like, girls on people's shoulders, just holding this nitrous bottle, or tank, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and just plops it on a table, hella sparklers and signs.
where all the hoes at?
Where are all the hoes at?
Short answers.
In the club.
They're all in the club. What is an LA nightlife culture, and who's it for?
That's a really good question. It's for people who hate themselves, to be
Okay.
honest.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel that.
if your life sucks that much that you gotta, like, buy bottles and you're not gonna get laid, like, it's just, like, 98% of the people who go to the club to try and, like, you know, spit game and pull, right? And the people who usually are buying a lot of the bottles, they fail. There's some people who, like, go out, have fun, and they're just naturally, like, charismatic people, and they happen to be grabbing bottles, but it's a very rare specimen of bottle buyer. Most people are either older and they're trying... Most people...
They just want to... Okay, what are the drugs like?
You could find them, probably. I mean...
Caveat.
Is it safe, like with the Fenty and all? The Fetty?
I personally wouldn't.
You wouldn't know?
No.
What does it smell like in the club?
Depends on the club, honestly.
Have you ever been to, what's that one called? The Candy Cat? I wonder.
Candy Cat?
Candy Cat.
That's not
It's a strip club. It goes, what are they doing to take care of the people and actually make the show good/safe?
So for groups of like girls that promoters will bring out, this is one thing that I actually think is really, really smart. There's some promoters that will take their girls to like a comp dinner. So it does two things. One, as a promoter, it gets like your party that you're gonna have at the club all in one spot, right? Two, you're all eating. So you know that girls aren't gonna be like drinking on an empty stomach. So like if a girl can drinks a lot or whatever, like 3 or 4 drinks they'll have a buzz or whatever. If they're on an empty stomach, they'd probably be a little bit more sauced. So dinners always help. Two, not letting randoms like that they don't know go to the table. That's a huge one. And that's usually it. I mean, you just need to make sure that, because the cool thing about like bottle service clubs is like having a table is like having your own piece of real estate inside of the venue. So you choose who you let come to the table and who you don't. But if other girls know other dudes, and they're like, oh, I know this person, like usually the promoter's not going to let random dudes at their table anyway. But like girls that know other guys are usually going to be the ones that do invite other random people there. And
I'll say something, because you're a promoter. You always want to have a buddy system. If you don't know a promoter, you don't need to know a promoter, or you don't need to have a table to go out and party in LA with your friends.
You don't.
Bring a guy that maybe you fuck with or you don't. Find some poor sucker on Hinge to take you out. You could ditch him halfway through.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
That works.
Bring your girlfriend, bring your mom, bring whoever. Just don't go alone. And then just don't do the drugs you're offered. Just drink. Drinking's fun. Like, become an alcoholic. Stay away from powders. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
Always carry Narcan. You never know what's out there if you do use drugs. But yeah, that's how you stay safe. Don't leave with strangers. And Uber. Uber everywhere. This person says, what? Okay, so this is kind of the same question. Tips on being safe, and what do you do if things go wrong? So maybe you can tell a story about, like, not something going wrong for a promoter, but, like, have you ever... I know of a girl who was at an afters, which is not so much a, like, event you would be interested in promoting. And unfortunately, she lost her life because of some drama. I don't know the full story, but it was really tragic. What was her name, DJ?
Is that at Underwear?
It was at Underwear, that underground party.
I can't remember offhand, but yeah, she basically left a party and...
Her name, you need to get her name. You need to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's only right. But it was really tragic and sad, and, like, I don't know if there's anything that company or whatever you'd call them could have done about that, because it was out of their hands at that point.
I know the clubs that I work at, I mean, people who go in, they get pat down. So
yeah,
that
this
helps.
metal security things too that Fever's incorporating.
Wands are a big one. Wands are huge, like the metal detector wands. And yeah, like, and also like the biggest thing that I notice for me personally, I've just seen like fights break out.
Yeah,
but it's not that often, at least in Hollywood. It's not, because most people who are going to those like the open format like bottle service clubs aren't really about that. They'll bark no bite.
that's a different scene.
Like the influencer crowd's not gonna like be
at Underwear. No.
Some of them go, but
oh really?
Maybe not Underwear, but they'll go to like some of the other ones like Lick and Dip or Fever or whatever the new flavor of the month in the warehouse scene is.